So we're going to cover online giving, and we're going to cover the business giving portion and how to enable that well using Kingdom for Solutions modules. So first of all, if you're using Payflow Pro, you can do that with an anonymous giving. I don't want to say anonymous, non-logged in giving. There's really no such thing as anonymous giving because we have to be able to attribute that gift. So non-logged in is the better way to just think of it. I know we use the word anonymous in our module settings with respect to online giving, but that's not really what's going on here. So we're going to go ahead and jump into looking at the give now. And I believe this is going to be our online giving, and we can go look at the settings on that real briefly. And for your case, specifically, I know you're using Shelby Giving, so that won't work. I think we are configured for Payflow Pro. Here we are. Your panel will look a little different than this when it's Shelby Giving. So let's just go look at that module setting really briefly so we can see what that would look like. So we are on page 3555. We're going to jump in here on pages. We're going to go to 3555. And on that page, we're going to jump into the online giving module. So this is that allow business selection. So I'm just going to turn that on really quickly. We're going to go ahead and update these settings. There's a lot of settings for online giving, as you probably know, because you've probably looked in there.
Yes.
And then we'll run a refresh cache out here. So the important thing to do when you're changing a module setting and you want to see it on your front side, you have to run a refresh cache out on the front. Otherwise, you won't see it. And the way you do that is putting refresh cache equals 1 or true up in the address bar with an ampersand in front of it. And that will make sure that that does that. So if you're configured for Payflow Pro, you can get an organization name instead of the individual first name, last name. That's not going to help you guys because you're Shelby Giving. So now let's go take a look at how we would go about configuring this to get this to work for Shelby Giving. I think I might have a Shelby Giving profile on here that I can use. So I don't have ACH set up at all. Yeah, I've got a Shelby Giving one right here. So we're going to go ahead and flip that over to Shelby Giving. And I'm just going to test the fact that this module setting says that it's going to override my ability to say whether I am a business or not. So with that change, this selection should go away, and it did. So it is not there. So something else that you can do is this login window is another module setting, and you could put a note right up here that says, if you are a business, for proper attribution or whatever word you want to use there instead of attribution, please log in. And then we'll go look at this create new account and how we can get people to create business accounts. But in the meantime, yeah, and now we're in Shelby Giving, and that's when you hit this add new payment method. There is no way to do this without having first name, last name, because Shelby Giving just doesn't do it any other way. Okay, so you know what? Let's just go ahead and make that adjustment for that login module. I don't remember what the name of that module setting is, but we'll just run through here. Well, where's my note? Usually there's a note that I can configure here. So this is that login accordion title. So that's going to be this right up here. And doesn't look like I can find that. All right, we're gonna jump over to code real quick. I gotta find that
No worries.
because I want to know what was the actual wording on that. Want to make. Well, it looks like we didn't make that configurable.
Oh,
That's kind of frustrating. So it's hard coded right here. So something we can look at in the future is making that adjustable. So there, I told you you could do something and you can't. So oops. All right, well, let's go back here and let's go say that we're creating a new account. So we're going to be landing on the create new account page, which is 3342. And let's go check the module settings on that guy. 3342. And this particular module is going to be the new account. Okay, this is the default new account request. So this is not the KFS one. So I'm going to go ahead and change this module over to the KFS one so that we can talk about what KFSs will do. And it's called create account, I believe. Event, create account. Okay. So that's it. It's actually reloading. You can't quite tell that it's reloading, but it's reloading. And we're going to say that's false. So this is that allow business add. So this is the one that's going to be really important for allowing businesses to create an account.
okay.
I do want it to, actually, I don't want it to do that. Campus order, I don't really care. I'm just going to set it to a campus. Email verification, I'm going to turn off. Marital, I'm not going to exclude any marital statuses. I'll bring him in as web prospect. That's going to be the verify new account. I'm not going to put, so this profile ID, I could put new people into a specific profile when they're created, but I'm not going to bother doing that. I am going to go ahead and set their record status to pending. Homepage, the redirect page. So if you want to stand up a specific new account page for your log for your online giving, you could do that. And then you could have this redirect directly back to your online giving page. So you could do that if you wanted to. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as going back to the home page, but that's a way you could do it. And then the request URL is gonna work here regardless. So that's what this means. By default, redirect page setting is overridden when request URL is in the parameters. So if we look up here, see how there's this request URL up here? So what that's doing is it says, hey, when you're done on this page, go back to that request URL page unless you mark this true, and then it's always going to go to the home page. We really don't want that functionality, so I'm going to leave that false.
Okay.
I'm not setting a source or a status ID for the profile that things are going in. I'm not going to do any of the bad password stuff. Show address. So this is where having a specific rendition of this module or instance of this module for your online giving might be valid, because I don't really want to show birth date. I'm not going to bother showing campus. Cell, SMS is fine. Email, gender, sure. Home phone, marital status, I don't want to care about that. The work phone, sure, why not? This is for internationalization if you're going to be using any international addresses. So you can set that to true, and then this allows you to override some of those labels. So like it says postal code, but maybe you need that to say something different. And especially if it's international. So like you might want it to say zip code domestically and then postal code internationally. Okay. So that's what those guys do. And then you can include some person attributes. I'm not going to do any kind of attributes because I just don't want to bring those in right now. Require address. I'm going to say yes to that. And I'm going to say yes to cell phone and email. And I think that's all I'm going to require. And then we're going to update that. Okay, so since we've changed this page, we actually need to put a refresh cache on the end of this guy. In order to do that, I'm actually going to hit the back button once. I'm going to run the refresh cache here because I want to see what this is going to look like now when I create new account from here. So now we're in, this is the KFS new account module. And this is where you can create it as a business. And you'll notice that all those person details went away because I'm now a business. And I don't know what business. We're going to say Matt's new online business. Why not? Put that in there. Text. I'm not going to put a home phone in because it's not required. Street address was required. And then we'll do min-ob, why not? And we'll put a password on it. And then you'd hit the register button. And what this came back and said is, hey, there's already an account that has this email address. If I click this create account button, it's going to go ahead and create the account anyway. And then it'll follow that refresh or that request URL and I'm back. And you'll notice that even though I'm in Shelby Giving, I'm now an organization because I can do it as once I'm logged in, I can give as an organization with Shelby Giving. But
both
you have
one-time and recurring gifts, right?
Yes, both one-time and recurring. Yep, I can make this a recurring gift by hitting that button, and it's going to load up the recurring screen right in here, and I can set up that recurring button. So what you'd really need to do is tell your businesses, probably via some kind of messaging up above here that says, hey, if you're wanting to give as an organization, please create an organizational account before giving. And then you can actually link that, please create an organizational account so that it's a hyperlink over to create that new business. And then if you were to come look inside of here, that business is actually going to be in Arena. Although I don't know exactly how to find it because I'm probably going to have to go look at the white pages directly, and then we'll search it by email. And I should get my record and the business record. No, I came right to me. Lovely. I think I was not searching pending. Yeah, I need to search pending because that record came in as a pending record. And obviously that's not going to impact whether somebody can give or not, but it did come in as pending, which means I didn't get both records. So there's this one right here that came in.
Okay.
And if we go look at it through here, it is going to show that it is a business record because you don't see the first name, last name here. I'm going to go ahead and set that to active instead of pending so we can get rid of our little red bar up here. And then the other thing that you can do with this that is kind of fun is you can attach a subdonor to this. So you can kind of create that relationship between, and that's this gift on behalf of, you can create the relationship between that organization and that person. So in this case, we're going to go ahead and create that between me, my actual record. Did I type that wrong? I probably put they put it all in one. I wasn't paying attention. So I'm going to go ahead and pick that. And now any gifts these guys give are going to be counted against that individual's record. So that gets important for churches that are trying to fulfill pledges and the business might make a donation towards the pledge, but the individual wants that contribution to count against the pledge that they made as an individual. So this is why that's important. And then the other thing that you can do is you can use relationships to, I don't actually have a good relationship right now. Let's see if I can, yeah. So you can go create in the admin area relationship types. So what we're going to do is create a relationship called owner. And then I'm just going to have to update that because I don't have the other side of it right now. And we'll add one more and we'll call that business. And the inverse is going to be owner. And that should update both of those. So we have business and owner, and they're both inversely related to each other. I'm going to use my back button to get back to my person detail page. We will reload that really quickly so that then we can get into this relationship. And on this one, I'm going to set Matt Baylor as the owner. Now you could also create another set of relationships inside of here, specifically for contacts. So what you might do is say, you know what, we're not just going to have owners in here, we're going to have contact, and the inverse relationship is going to be that business. So then they become a business contact. And so what we might do in the case of another person, which in this case, I'm just going to pull up my wife, we might go ahead and create a relationship for them. Whoops, that's the actual family editor. Wrong button, don't want to go in there. So then we'll go in here into that relationship and we can then go find that business, which we'll search there. And then we'll set her as a contact for that business. So then as we go look at the business, then we can start seeing down here that, oh, I see Matt Baylor as the owner. Oh, I did that wrong. So we'll change that. We actually want this to be Kimmy Baylor is the contact. And again, you'll probably want to check it to make sure that we don't oops on that. And then we'll set that as a contact so that then you can kind of get an idea, okay, who could I contact with this relationship, or who can I contact about this business, and who's the actual person related to it. So
gotcha.
Anyway, so that is how you can create get businesses to be able to donate using the KFS modules, but it is a combination of our create account and our giving modules.
Okay.
Okay. What else?
This was more of, I'm not sure if I myself can actually change it or not. We also use the search bar giving page where people can search for a fund.
Oh yeah, okay.
Rather than rather than like a specific fund. But like the search bar, it says search, and then in the actual bar it says type here. And I know that my organization has had some talks about changing that wording to actually say like search for missionary or project, but I don't know if that's something I can actually change.
I'm not sure. Let's go take a peek though. It might be. So that's again going to be a module setting, and it's going to be on the online giving page itself. And let's see. So that's the enable fund search, which I'm going to go ahead and turn this on for here. And let's see if I can. So that would change the label of the search button, but I don't know that it's going to change the, I'm losing my words for what that actually is called. It's like this, it's this. Yeah, it's that stuff inside there. I can't remember what that's called. Placeholder. So I don't know if this will change the placeholder or not. Okay, seriously, I said update. Go update. All right, let's take a peek and see what we get here. So type here is what you're hoping to change, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's go take a peek at that because I've got it open. Might as well look. Actually, that's going to be in a different control. That's going to be in this guy right here. Yep, looks like that is hard coded as well. So this is where we kind of we get a little salesy, and I apologize for that. But if that's something you'd like us to change, you can ask us and we can then give you an estimate for what it would cost to allow that to be configurable. And then once it's configurable, then it would be a module setting to allow you to change that type here to something else.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it's not hard to do. And in fact, you can see right here, that's a configurable one. And that's that search box label that we saw in the module settings here. This guy right here. So you can override this with
okay.
So that one you can definitely do, and we can see what that will look like out here. But that's only going to change this. It's not going to change this. So yeah, again, this is something that we would be happy to change that. It would just need to be a little bit of a project. It's a very small one. And so you just email sales@kingdomfirstsolutions.com. Tell us what you're looking for, and we would email you back an estimate, and you would say either yes or no, or ignore us, either one. And then we would we would make that change or not, depending upon what your answer is. So,
gotcha. And then I think the other thing I just want you to probably walk through is the other thing we were thinking about for our giving page was doing the accordion style, where like we where we have several funds, like hundreds. So we are like thinking it might be easier for our donors to look at funds via category rather than searching them. Yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure where that is located.
Yep, that's actually here in the module settings as well. So what we do is we turn fund search off. And then what we have is a properly formatted JSON string. So that's this collapse multi-accordion directive setting. And this does get a little bit, this gets a little crazy.
Okay.
So what we'll do is this index, so that's this number right here, is where this particular little thing is going to land. So, or where this collapsible panel is going to land. And then anything between this one and this one are going to show in inside of whatever's collapsed above them. So what I'm going to do here, we're going to copy this, we're going to delete. Let's see, let's go look at our funds. I might need to create a couple other funds to make this work. So let's go into our contributions and our fund management, and we're going to create a couple extra funds so that we can kind of play with this, because right now we only really have 3 funds.
Okay.
So maybe you can help me be creative in other funds that I might create. So actually, let's do it this way. We're going to do the we'll do that. And then we're just going to copy this and put it here and update that. And then we're going to go create another one that might also be a Colorado Springs rescue mission fund. And I'm really just kind of making these up on the fly.
Yeah.
And then in order to do this, we're going to do the same thing, and we'll do it with Pueblo for fun. Pueblo is another, well, city, town in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
So what I called it on the other one, homeless fund, I think it was. Yeah, and then we'll do the rescue mission fund as well. Yeah. Okay, so we've got a couple of funds. That one didn't get an online name. Let's go fix that. Okay. So what we're doing is these fund IDs, this is kind of what matters here. I'm gonna go ahead and pop open that pages page in another tab, and we'll go back to the giving page so that we can kind of flip between these two tabs and see what's going on here. So we're gonna go back to the online giving page, open up to get into the content here, and we're going to come down here to this multi-accordion directive right here. And fund searches, we're going to go ahead and turn that off for now because I want to see everything. And we're going to hit update. And then I'm going to go back into it. But before we go any further, I'm going to go ahead and hit refresh cache so that I can see the changes I made, which is this little search should be going away. We should be seeing our funds. Okay, now I need to go include my other funds so that I can see them here, because what's going to matter is their positioning here. So inside of here, we have 1 and 2. I don't want to put 3 in because that's was a credit card processing one. And I think we went 4, 5, 6, 7, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7. Perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get all of those funds out there first of all, so that I can see them, because I have to then count in order to get everything correct. Okay, so we've got all of our funds showing now. So what I want to do is I want to leave these two up there in my example so that they're just going to show. And then I want to go ahead and have a Colorado Springs and a Pueblo collapse. So I'm going to want at position 3, that Colorado Springs thing. So I'm going to come back over to my online giving, and I'm going to work on building this multi-accordion directive so that it will work. And the way I always start this is I start by copying this sample and putting it in here, because it's a lot easier to edit the sample than it is to do it any other way. So I'm starting at 3, and then the label that I want here is this is going to be Colorado Springs, and I want them to start uncollapsed faults. So I want it to start collapsed. So
okay,
I want to leave it false. And then at my next position, so this is where things, this is where I'm going to be guessing just a bit. So I've now inserted a new 3. That makes this 4, 5. And then I want at 6, I want Pueblo. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to say 6. And I want this to be my Pueblo collapse. And then I'm just going to update it, and I'm going to see if I was right or not. Unfortunately, this does take just a little bit of going back and forth to test it and see if it did what I wanted it to. And I think it did. Nope, not quite. So this one's too low. Do you see how these are underneath this collapse here? But then I missed Pueblo. So I need to go move Pueblo up 1.
Okay. So instead of 6, it would be 5.
Exactly. Right. And so I'm just going to come down here to where I was making all those adjustments. And I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger. Instead of at 6, I want it to be at 5. And then we will just run that refresh cache out here. And then I should have both Pueblos under here. I do. And I've got both Colorado Springs ones underneath here.
Gotcha. Okay.
So, and if I wanted one more, like say I just wanted to put a general right up above it, then what I would do is I would just copy that row from this accordion directive, and I would put it wherever I want it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and copy. You'll notice, by the way, this last one doesn't have a comma.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only kind of gotcha in this. So I'm going to say I want this one to be at 1, and I'm going to call this general, and maybe I want that one to start open instead of collapsed. So what that's going to do is put a general banner right up here, but it's going to be open already, but it would let me close it so that I could get to other things.
Oh, okay.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. What else can we cover?
Those were my top 3 things. So.
No problem. Well, that's great. Just please know that this is always available every other Friday. You're welcome to sign up for it as many times as you want. And if you want help from us configuring this on your server, just make that appointment through Carla or however she tells you to do it. And then we would actually help you configure this on your server to do it the way that you want it to work. So.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I think that covers it then. If you're good, I'm good, and we'll call it good.
Yep, I'm good.
Excellent. All right, well, have a great weekend, and we will talk to you later.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome. All right, bye.
Bye.